Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we'll be designing the user interface of our Android application. Now this tutorial is going to be the continuation of the previous tutorial in which we have designed this basic login screen for our application, and now in this tutorial we are going to study about some things which are called as resources. But before directly jumping into the resources, the first thing which I need to mention is we need to learn how you could change the text into this login button. So for example, let's say if you want to name this button as something different, then one way of doing this would be just clicking on it, going to properties and just changing the text property right over here, so that you could replace the text in this box and it is going to change the text for you. But one more method or one more way of doing this is by going into the XML file. So if you open up your XML file, you'll see that the button lies over here. So as we want to change the text of this login button, we could simply select this property of Android, which is Android:text, and it is going to change the text for us. So let's say if you want to change the text from login to, let's say, click here. So we simply type in click here, and as you could see, the text has been changed. So even if we switch to the design view, you could see that the text in the button has been changed. Now one more thing which I want to discuss is how you could increase the size of this text area. So for example, in this login screen we have two text areas. One is to accept the email and the next one is to accept the password. Now let's say you want to increase the size of this text area. So let's say the username or the email is going to be a bit longer than this, then how you could increase the size of. So let's attempt to change the size of these two text areas by using the XML file. So when we go in our XML file, you'll notice that we have two text areas. So this edit text is basically for the email. So when you click on it, it is going to highlight your text area. So now in order to increase the size of this text area, we are going to type some simple code. So as you could see, the width of your text area is not yet mentioned here. So we go into this edit text tag and we simply type in Android:width, and then we are going to type the width which we want to specify. Now the thing is that you could specify the width in pixels, but the issue with pixels is that the size of every pixel on every different device is going to be different. So instead of using pixels directly, we are going to use a unit for defining pixels which is called as the density pixels. So in this case, I think that 320 density pixels would be sufficient width for our text area. So we go ahead and type Android width equals 320 dp, and dp stands for density pixels. So now we are done adding that. As you could see, the size of the text area has been increased. Now if you copy the same code and if you paste it in your password field or your password tag, it is also going to change the size of your password field. So as you could see, we have increased the size of both the email area as well as the password area. So now once we are done with this, we switch on to the design view, and the next we are going to discuss in this tutorial is going to be the resources. So you might have noticed that when you click on this button, you are going to get a light bulb on side of it, and this light bulb is nothing but it specifies some warning. That means we have done something incorrect. Now in order to check the warning, you simply click on this button, and as you could see, there is a small arrow right over here which points towards the right. Then you simply need to click on this arrow and you want to add a resource. Now before adding up the resource, there is a thing which I need to explain. So basically, whenever you are going to create your Android application and whenever you are going to have some text into your Android application, every text which we use in our application, we need to make sure that the text which we are entering should be treated as a resource. So we cannot just directly jump in, and we could not add any text directly onto your activity. So when we click on this light bulb over here, and when we click on it, it prompts us to name the resource. So for example, this is our resource, which is nothing but the string which we have specified in the button. So let's name this thing as, let's say, button name, and let's click OK. So as you could see, when I click it, the text is going to disappear, and instead of it, we are going to get like add string / button name. Now if you switch to your text view, you could see that it appears like click here over here. Now the thing is that all the resources which are related to our Android applications are stored in this app folder. So if you click on app folder, and then we have a folder which is called as resources, which is going to hold each and every resource which is required for our Android application. So if you click on it, you could see that we again have a folder which is called as values, and if you open this values folder, you are going to get a XML file which is going to store all the strings for us. So this is the XML file which is called as strings, and it is going to contain reference to each and every string. So when we open up the XML file, we are going to notice that each and every string which is used in our application is stored as a resource in this particular strings.xml file. So as you could see, we have the string name, which is nothing but the button name, and inside it we have stored the value, which is click here. So the main purpose of the string.xml file is to store each and every string used in our application as a resource, and it is going to refer to each and every string which is stored in our application. So now once we switch on to the activity main.xml, we are going to notice that the text has been changed to click here. So that's it for this tutorial, and in this tutorial we have learned how you could change the text of the button or the text area by using the XML file. We have also learned how you could resize your text areas, and we have also learned about resources and strings. So how strings in your Android application are being treated as resources, and they are going to be stored in a special XML file which is called as the strings.xml. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.